Welcome. This is Cam Mosher, and I'm going to share with you a bit of wisdom that I've gained in my life. Lived some decades on the planet, and I've paid some tuition for lessons that I've learned. And if you're willing to pay attention and really get what I'm going to share with you here, maybe you won't have to pay the same tuition. Now, I started off just like you did as a young person, and here's me back in college days. I thought back then that I knew everything, and I had the world by the tail, and here was my dad, and I joked only a little bit that it was amazing how much my father had learned between my 12th birthday and my 30th birthday. And I don't know that he learned, well, he kept learning, of course, but I think it was me finally beginning to get the lessons that life offers us. And so here I am, more or less middle age, middle picture, and I kept learning, and I kept growing and getting older and having more experiences in life. And finally, I show up here at the age you see me in class. I'm sharing now with you some of the lessons that I've learned from my life experiences, hopefully for your benefit. Here's a little quotation I've often said in my classes. I don't just want to change your grade. I want to change your life. And so if you pay attention to what I'm sharing with you here in this little video, I promise you it has the capacity to literally change your life. So we're going to begin now by just thinking back. I'm standing in front of you, and there's a group of folks there, and my question is, how many cams are talking to you right now? Now there's a moment of silence as everybody kind of looks around, and maybe somebody finally says, there's one cam up in front of us. And I let that soak in for a minute, and then I say, wrong. And if that's the wrong answer, what is the right answer? And so again, people are kind of nervously looking around and wondering what was wrong with that because they only see one cam up there in front. Ultimately, we get to the right answer. There are as many cams as there are people sitting there in the room. Every person in that room perceives Cam in a unique way. In other words, everyone there is filtering this being that's in front of them through a unique set of filters to render in their consciousness a unique perception of Cam. Perception. That's the key word here. Perception. Perception is what registers in your consciousness from whatever it is that you are perceiving out there in front of you or in the world around you. Perception. You got to really get this word. It's a key to understanding your life experience, and it's a key to understanding the rest of this video. You see, you live in a prison. And let's view that prison as you down there in the middle of a box. So you're standing right there in the middle of your box. It's your prison for life. And as you're looking out onto reality, you see, reality is filtering through something to become your perception of it. And what is that filter that takes reality out there and forms your perception of reality? Now, I don't question that I exist. I don't question you exist. I don't question that reality exists out there. But we're looking at reality through a filter. And the question is, what is it that filters reality into a unique perception of it, such that there are as many cams standing in front of you as there are people perceiving and filtering Cam through their own unique set of filters. Now, if whatever's real has to filter through your belief system to become your perception of it, then I don't exist in your reality. Only your perception of me exists in your reality. If you want to take it to the ultimate level, you do not exist in your own reality. Only your perception of yourself exists in your reality. Is this a sort of an amazing realization? It's important if you really want to grow in your life. The filter is your beliefs and conclusions about reality. So if we go back to the moment you entered mortality, you entered this reality. and you began to experience it. Some of those experiences even occurred in the womb. But then you were born and you experience it outside the womb, and you start experiencing your family, your parents, temperatures, changes, environment, all of the things that as an infant you experienced. You're beginning to form conclusions about your experiences. Those conclusions in the early stages of your life do not register in your brain cognitively. They register in a whole different part of your psyche. It's the psyche where you're experiencing things and you're concluding things. It has a fancy name. We call it the affective part of you, but it doesn't matter what we call it. Those experiences and those conclusions are registering nonetheless, because your job as an infant is to begin to formulate a set of conclusions and beliefs about reality so that you can survive in it. That's your job. Now, those beliefs and conclusions contain the meanings you have assigned to everything in your reality. Everything has a meaning, good, bad, or some primary meanings, are they not? It's important that you begin to assign some meanings that will guide you as you continue to experience reality and can then make some judgments based upon these meanings. Now, as you develop through infancy and early childhood, the sum of this entire process and all of these beliefs, conclusions, and meanings becomes your unique belief system. Your belief system is your personal and internal definition of reality. What you see is what you believe you see. You literally create your own reality out of your belief system. And so you may be in an experience seeing it in an experiential way, and another person standing right next to you seeing it in their unique experiential way, and you're experiencing that reality totally differently. It is a difficult realization that what you perceive as real is not what others perceive as real. If you get that, that will explain why we have conflict with one another. Because we see uniquely and we assign meanings and values differently based upon our own unique experiential upbringing and the conclusions and meanings we've assigned to everything. So here you are back in your box. Remember that reality outside your box is filtering through your entire life's experience and being given meaning and interpretation inside your box. Therefore, when you look out at reality, you're not seeing what's real. You're seeing what you perceive to be real. This is truly a prison, and you're going to spend the rest of your life inside of it. You see, no one knows what is real. All anyone knows is what one perceives to be real. If you really get that, and you look around at everybody around you and realize that everyone is perceiving reality in their own unique way, the question then is, who's right? Well, of course, everyone is right if they are perceiving and registering a meaning through their filters. They are right in their perception. And if everyone is right in their perception, then why are we having conflict with one another? Why can we not communicate with one another to listen and learn how we perceive differently? You know, we might learn something about life and about each other's perception of life that would enrich our own perceptions of reality. What you see is what you believe you see. You literally create your own reality out of your belief system. And therefore, your perception is a mirror of your internal belief system. Now, listen to that one again and read carefully what's on your screen. Therefore, your perception is a mirror of your internal belief system. You're in your prison, and you're looking out at the walls of your prison, and you see your belief system reflected back to you in the meanings and experiences and interpretations that you have in all of the circumstances you face in life. Your belief system contains your attitudes, your beliefs about yourself, and your beliefs about the worth of your efforts. Your values and your priorities are all there reflected back. You may not see them directly unless you pay attention and learn to recognize these things that are being reflected back to you. Your attitudes, your beliefs about yourself and the worth of your efforts, your values, and your priorities. They're all there to be seen. Life is a perfect mirror. Your results in life will perfectly reflect back to you your attitudes, beliefs, and priorities. That's sort of an amazing realization, is it not? That all you have to do is look out into your results to see a perfect reflection of your attitudes, beliefs, and priorities. How is it then that two people sitting next to each other in the same class can perceive it differently? One hates it, one loves it. It is the same class environment. The difference is not the class or the teacher. The difference is the individual student. Every human characteristic can be placed on a distribution graph. Now we could take our height, our weight, the length of our belt, oh my goodness, and every human characteristic can be placed on a distribution graph. It's called the bell-shaped curve. It may not be exactly a bell shape, but it is still a distribution graph. From the smallest or the slowest or whatever the lowest measure is to the largest, the fastest, the highest at the top end of the distribution. Now, most people, you see here, most people are going to be not on the tails. Here's some at the very lowest. Here's some at the very highest, but most of us are here in the middle of the graph. So there is sort of an average human being with respect to any characteristic or quality. Let's just for fun take this measure or characteristic of the human being, the quickness at understanding a subject. Let's take math or science or English or writing or anything that you are embarking to understand. Some are going to be slower at understanding it. Some are going to be really up at the top end. They have to just walk into a classroom and listen a little bit and they've got it. Most of us are here in the middle. We are sort of average. And consequently, education is geared toward the average person. We break it into semesters, we break it into hours per week, and it's all geared toward the average person. Some down here aren't going to get it in class. They're going to have to spend some extra time outside of class getting the material. Some over here they hardly have to attend class at all. They're getting it by one pass through a textbook and maybe taking a few notes in a lecture, and they've got it. Here's the rest of us. The rest of us are right here in the middle. Now the question then is, who can get an A? Here we are, spread from, it takes a lot of effort for this group to really learn the material. This group doesn't have to spend much effort at all, but here's most of us here, and the question is, who can get an A? Well, anyone can get an A. It's not a matter of whether I can get an A. The question is, am I willing to put in whatever effort it takes for me to learn the material and demonstrate my knowledge to accumulate an A grade in a course? Or here I am over here. Maybe it won't take me very much to get an A. But both of us and all of us can learn the material. You see, life is a perfect mirror. Your results in life, in class, in college, in education, will perfectly reflect back to you your attitudes, beliefs, and priorities. The skill that we're talking about here is your willingness and your ability to actually look at yourself. Can you see your attitudes, your beliefs, and your priorities in your results? If you can, you're developing a tool that will serve you all of your life. You see, attitude, belief, and priorities are not something that's assigned to you in the universe. You get to pick your attitude. Your attitude is a decision you make, whether it's something is positive or negative, whether you like it or dislike it. These are your choice. Your beliefs about yourself are simply a matter of developing confidence that you have what it takes to do good work, and that your efforts in behalf of doing the good work are worth your while. And finally, your priorities are your choice. You, I, everybody has the same 24 hours every day, every week, for all of our life. And our priorities then become how we use the 24 hours we have. Everybody's got the same. And we all then get to make decisions about how we're going to use them. That's called priorities. Therefore, since all of these things are your choice, you are in control of your results. And now the most important realization in life. I am totally responsible for my life experience, and my life results, period. I am not a victim of anything. And I have exactly and only one life to live. I get only one shot at every moment of my life, and then it's gone. Now, stuff happens. I don't disagree. Stuff happens. I've had stuff happen in my life. I know it happens to everyone. We have things happen in our life. I call this stuff circumstance. We all have circumstances in our life. And how we choose to deal with our circumstances makes all the difference in terms of the results we get out of the experience. I have all kinds of heroes that I can refer to. Viktor Frankl, Stephen Hawking, Stevie Wonder, and those are more from my generation. You have them in the younger generation of people who are inflicted with all kinds of circumstances that we might say are disabilities and difficulties. And you look at these people who are successful and happy and accomplishing in life, and they have chosen to have a positive attitude about their circumstances. They have chosen to believe in their own ability to have a satisfying life given their circumstances, and they have prioritized their life so that they accomplish amazing things. You and I and they are all cut out of the same cloth called the human being. And the second part of this is you have exactly and only one life to live. That's it. One. And every moment of that life is one shot at it. And then the moment has gone into the past. So if you don't get good out of every moment and learn something out of every moment, you've wasted the opportunity of that moment. So just some lessons here. Let's move on now to finally tie it down to the current activity of Geology 1010. To get at least an A- in Geology 1010 requires accumulating at least 900 points. Read it in the syllabus. Now, this can be accomplished in a combination of several ways. Read it in the syllabus. I give tests. Those tests are worth up to a total of 750 points. I give homework assignments and reading quizzes. Those are worth up to 150 points. I assign an investigative team project, and you are already members of a team, and that's worth up to 100 points. Then, in addition to that, I have extra credit opportunities for as many points as you want to accumulate. Every test has an extra credit question. You have extra credit assignments in mastering geology. And finally, you can propose to me for my approval any project that you feel relates to earth science, and do your own research and submit an extra credit assignment to me. In other words, your results are totally up to you, and you're the one who's going to have to assign your priorities and your outcome. You decide your outcome, and you do whatever it takes to achieve that outcome, and there's nobody in my class who cannot achieve an A grade. Thank you very much for your attention.